All right, here we go into the first of potentially 5 games in our last set of the day between the Spuds of Glowwater and the Fancy Cloud Dancers. First off, for red team, we have the Junk Box, piloted by Fiasco. It is a Magnate with left side Minotaur Dual Artemis, right side Gatling Silomortar Huacha. Their ally, the You Can't Zank Me, piloted by Mighty Keb. It is a Spire. Spire changes aren't in the test build yet, as far as I know, but yet we have a Spire here. Lumberjack on the front with Hades and dual Light Flax flanking either side. Their opponents, Fancy Cloud Dancers, we have the Jabberwocky, another Magnate here with left side Minotaur Hades Light Flak, a little bit more piercing damage on this Magnate compared to their opponents, and on the right side, Mortar Gatling Heavy Carronade. Their allies, Gizmoduck, piloted by Spudnik, with left side Hades Dual Artemis and right side Gatling Mortar. So you Can't Zank Me is going to be the real wild card in this match. Spire already dead. What? Spire, no. No, he tried to pull Graphic Sturdy. It didn't quite work. And now the Junk Box left all on their own. Magnate does not have particularly good escape capability. So unless they can somehow tank through this or pull some impressive piloting maneuvers here to get out of this situation, they might be going down. Already armor broken by the dual Hades from blue team. 25% Hermahole Artemis just chunking away at the Magnates, and hitting the building here. That's probably going to be the end of the Magnate. On the next armor break. They do have all their engines, but they don't have much balloon to work with. Jabberwocky slowly descending here to try to block the red Magnate's passage. And it's probably going to be about it. Minotaur does reduce, on the Jabberwocky, does reduce their damage output a little bit. But Gizmoduck, bouncing him down. That's probably going to be the second point for FCD here. The Magnate does go down. You Can't Zank Me has already spawned back into the match. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but Spire's going to have to back out. They definitely don't want to be caught out in the open like this, so they're backing as far as possible from where they know the blue team is. And they're going to wait for their ally to respawn and potentially come up with a greater plan of attack. This is a long-range Spire. One strategy that you do occasionally see on this map, because Periton Rumble is... blue team is running right to where red is spawned. They know this map inside and out. One strategy you sometimes see with the Spire is because of these like tall buildings, narrow passageways. You can build a very high damage output close range build for the Spire that acts as, it's kind of a surprise build where you just hide and wait for an ally to fly, or an opponent to fly by and just blow them out of the sky before they're able to return fire, taking advantage of the Spire's glass cannon status. But with this long range setup that You Can't Zank Me is running, they're not going to have they don't have a lot of burst potential. They do have the dual Light Flax, but in order to use those, they both need impressive timing, and they also need to be able to take down the target's armor before they lose their own guns. To the watch of the I guess they don't have a to the Artemis of the Gizmoduck. I guess blue team is using the heavy carronade for close range side on the Jabberwocky. You Can't Zank Me has found a pretty good angle here. Some good lumberjack shots, and Hades coming out from the Jabberwocky. There's that armor break, and wow, the light flak. Okay, whatever I said about lacking in burst damage, light flak's more than enough to finish off the Magnate. Blue team caught totally unaware by the You Can't Zank Me's repositioning, doing a ton of damage. And now the Gizmoduck is trying to pursue. They want vengeance for their ally, perishing. But I don't think they're going to be able to get it. And yeah, they're just turning tail and running the heck away. And with that tar, I think they're probably going to be able to get to safety. A lot of component damage coming out onto the junk box here. I do wonder how well the Minotaur is going to fare against that Spire. You know, typically you see Spire struggling a lot in long-range fights, and a big part of that, I mean, the Artemis is important because it takes out the components, but Lumberjack's also very good against the Spire because it's so tall and it has such a balloon that's very easy to hit. Once the balloon goes, like, you take down the balloon, Spire hits the ground very quickly because it's so tall, and armor goes down very quickly after that, but blue team lacking any sort of long-range balloon disable potentially means they're given a little bit of leeway to the red Spire. And you already see that you can't zank me getting into a very sneaky position here, waiting for blue team to fly out in front. I assume they're going to try to focus the Jabberwocky again because it is the squishier of the two Fancy Cloud Dancer ships. But in the meantime, the junk box is getting pushed to the edge of the map, so you can't zank me is going to have to make their move pretty quickly. You see some Hades shots coming out in the Jabberwocky. Lumberjack has taken out the Jabberwocky's balloon, but unfortunately, the Spuds Magnate already destroyed. You can't zank me. Not able to kill them quickly enough, and there's the armor break on the Jabberwocky, but I think they're just going to be able to sneak behind this building, meaning you can't zank me. Unable to follow up with light flak, unable to get the kill. And they kill this Junker, though. Gizmoduck very aggressively pushing the Spire. Their balloon's already knocked out. They don't have any sort of drogue shoot to stay in the air. You can't zank me flying over them, bumping the balloon a little bit. Because all the guns on the You Can't Zank Me, they all have arming time. They're not going to be very effective at close range. So with the Gizmoduck having closed the distance, You Can't Zank Me knows that even though they took out the balloon, they're not going to be able to finish off the blue Junker. Instead, rising up, deciding, okay, I'm going to start putting some fire on the Jabberwocky. Gizmoduck is going to be out of the fight because they lost their balloon. Let's kill this Magnate. Junkbox, on the other hand, looks like it's going to try to keep the Junker suppressed, while the You Can't Zank Me decides who it wants to fire at. A few shots going into the Gizmoduck, some going into the Jabberwocky. Looks like the chosen target is going to be Gizmoduck. Junkbox, however, taking a ton of close range damage. Close range side of the Jabberwocky, and the Gizmoduck able to finish off the red Magnate in a matter of seconds, while the You Can't Zank Me is struggling to get a kill of their own. Gizmoduck has been knocked out of the fight, but Jabberwocky probably doesn't want to take a 1v1 with the Spire. Yeah, and we already see the upwards Hades shots from the Gizmoduck, taking out the You Can't Zank Me's hull armor, just one hit away. Junkbox spawned back in, taking a close fight. Let's see what these... You can see Daniel is the pilot of the Jabberwocky, has been jamming on this kerosene to try to reduce the knockback effect from... There was an unmitigated Minotaur from the Junkbox. They're trying to mitigate the knockback effect from the Minotaur by using engine tools. Like, I feel like the Minotaur today, we haven't been seeing a whole lot of great usage of it. Junkbox is doing a good job with their what is this, dual Artemis? Yeah, dual Artemis here. And this is a pretty good fight for the red Magnate, because the Jabberwocky doesn't have any gun disable besides the Minotaur. Junkbox is going to be able to keep them suppressed with the dual Artemis for pretty much indefinitely. But Gizmoduck has rejoined the fight, and this turns the table a little bit. You Can't Zank Me following behind with the Lumberjack. Gizmoduck's balloon is one hit away. There comes the Mallet. So one more hit going to be necessary to take down the Junker's balloon. You Can't Zank Me has switched focus to the Jabberwocky. Jabberwocky's balloon is down. They might land on this building. If they land on this building, then I think You Can't Zank Me is going to be able to follow up and kill them. There comes the Hades. They're using Drogue Shoot to try to stay near. All the engines are down, and there goes the Fancy Cloud Dancer's Magnate. And Gizmoduck totally suppressed by the dual Artemis of the Junkbox. They're easy pickings for the You Can't Zank Me. Ooh, light flak's doing it's so much damage. Spuds of Glowwater doing a great job clawing their way into this back into this match. You know, the Spire choice always one you have to look at with a little bit of skepticism. But so far it's been working out. And part of this might be because the Jabberwocky did choose to bring Minotaur, and the Minotaur I haven't spent a lot of time with the proposed Minotaur changes. But I imagine it's still probably not super good against the Spire, just because there's not a good point to shoot it that's far from the center of mass that'll turn it around. It's kind of just a big pole. And I'm not sure how significant the shatter damage actually is in practice. So red team's splitting up a little bit. Junkbox already taking some Hades shots from the Jabberwocky while the You Can't Zank Me repositions. Looks like he's trying to distract the blue team to maybe cover their allies' tracks, so that You Can't Zank Me can again find a nice angle that they can surprise the fancy Cloud Dancers from. Also, I'm very quickly going to look around. I don't think anybody... Yeah, we're seeing a lot of burst damage here, so everybody on the You Can't Zank Me using greased ammo for the damage output and to reduce that arming time. Yeah, so far, haven't seen a lot of people using the buffed incendiary ammo just yet. There's still time, but here comes the blue team. They found the junk box. You Can't Zank Me is ready to assist, but I don't know if they're going to be able to assist fast enough. Junk box already going down. 5th point for the fancy Cloud Dancers, and they're going to take the first game in this best of 5 set. So we'll be back in just a couple moments. Next map is going to be Northern Fjords. And here we go into the second game of our set between the Spuds of Glowwater and the fancy Cloud Dancers. First off, for the red team, we have the Shrike, piloted by Fiasco, Hwacha Flamers on either side of this Shrike. Their ally, the G Ready, piloted by Mighty Keb, Gatling, Banshee Squid with a rear light carronade. Their opponents, the fancy Cloud Dancers, piloted by Daniel, we have the fancy Hydra, Mercury, Dual Artemis, Mobule with left side Hades and right side Gatling gun, this triple piercing build. And their allies, the Bodhi McBoatface, piloted by Spudnik. Oh, here we go. Here's the good stuff. Dual, let me get a good shot of these here. Dual Minotaurs here on the left side with light flak for explosive follow-up. Left side Hwacha heavy carronade with a rear flare gun. So the fancy Hydra is already running from the squid. Mighty Keb wants a piece of that rider action, forcing them away. Bodhi McBoatface rising up, hoping to maybe put a little bit of suppressing fire onto the G Ready. Here come the Minotaur. Mighty Keb jamming that kerosene. Dual Minotaur here doesn't seem to be dissuading the squid much, as the Swike just charges directly into the galleon and knocks out their own hull armor. They do have to be careful. Minotaur is going to push them into arming time for the light flak. Ooh, just barely inside the arming time. And, oh, the Mobula died also, apparently. A Minotaur pushing the Shrike down into the ground, while the G-Ready up moves in to refocus onto the blue galleon. Bodhi McBoatface has a lot of armor, but the galleon is taking it down to about half health. Flamethrowers from the Shrike, it seems like, doing a great job just denying them the usability of their engines. Most of the guns on the Bodhi McBoatface down as well. 15 stacks onto the hull armor, taking it down. Gatling from the G-Ready up a little bit late. Here come the Banshees. Here comes the Hwacha from the Shrike. Not much left on the galleon for the Hwacha to kill, to be totally honest. Having a little bit of difficulty finishing off this blue ship. Fancy Hydra has spawned in from very far away. They're going to be utilizing the Mercury field gun with the dual Artemis to put in some long-range suppressing fire. So even though they just spawned in, they're going to be able to support their ally immediately. Shrike losing their armor again already to the fancy Hydra, and has moved into refocus. Let's see, are any of these watches up? No, yes. Right side watch, it looks like, still up on the Shrike, and they're going to try to refocus it here onto the Mobula. Watch able to take out one engine. Not a whole lot from the Shrike, but even Bowface loses their armor again. G Ready Up only has the Banshee to follow up once the armor is broken, so it'll take them a while to actually kill this Galleon without the help of their ally. Now we see the Shrike focusing onto the Fancy Hydra. Oh, the Galleon died. I'm not doing a very good job of spectating this match, I'll be totally honest. G Ready Up now refocusing onto the Fancy Hydra. Bouncing him around, doing about 50% perma hull. Ooh. Goodbye, Mobula. This fast team composition working very well for the red team. The dual I feel like the dual Minotaurs from the Galleon are just not contributing a whole lot of fire to these battles. They're going to be relying pretty heavily on the Mobula for the firepower. Minotaur is also probably not super effective against these ships that can just kind of turn back really easily, because they have the ships with fast turning acceleration. Now G Ready Up is being pretty sneaky here. They're coming in the back from the mountain range to see where blue team is spawned, while the Shrike waits near center map. The Shrike is spotted. G Ready spotted as well, but it might be too late here. They've already got the rear of the Fancy Hydra. Fancy Hydra are going to have to do some fancy flying here to get out of the Gatling arc of the G Ready Up. Armor's going to go down, but G Ready Up, afraid of the Bodium Bowface coming back into the fight, decides to Hydro disengage from that fight, losing their balloon already from the heavy carronade of the Bodium Bowface. That's some max range heavy carronade shots. And the G Ready Up is totally at the mercy of the Fancy Hydra. Gatling taking out their armor, but able to just barely squeak underneath. Ooh. Fancy Hydra able to compensate, puts them back into Gatling arc. Let's see if they can follow up with some of the Artemis. Alright, armor's down on the G Ready Up. Balloon is just about down as well. So all this hydrogen has taken a toll on the Squid's balloon, and without that balloon, they're gonna have a lot of difficulty outmaneuvering the Fancy Hydra. But they're able to get behind them and stay behind them just long enough to rebuild it. So now Gatling is coming out from both ships. The armor on the G Ready goes down first, and the Bodium Bowface able to take a long-range Watch Barrage to finish off the Squid. Great team coordination from the Fancy Cloud Dancers. And the Shrike, well, the Shrike was doing okay against the Bodium Bowface in the 1v1. With the Mobula coming back into the fight, Shrike's going to be forced away. Looks like they took no permanent damage from the battle with the Galleon, so that's good at least. But they do have a pretty significant disadvantage for the next fight, because they are at about, 15% perma hull. It's kind of interesting, actually. You saw the Bodium Bowface, instead of using their two Minotaurs, electing to use the Hwachin and the heavy carronade to support their ally at medium-long range. So perhaps a little bit of a lack of confidence in the newly rebalanced Minotaur, perhaps from the Galleon's pilot. Red team's camped out at center map at the big arch. G Ready's up, moving in. Gets a spot onto the Mobula and the Galleon. Shrike's waiting back, gonna wait for its opportunity to pounce. Staying high here. Squid trying to stay out of the Artemis arcs of the Fancy Hydra. Not going to be able to get an armor break in this first volley. In the meantime, the Shrike has chosen to engage onto the Bodium Bowface, rising up here. Watch a barrage coming out. They do manage to take out the Minotaur and heavily damage the heavy carronade onto the Galleon. But Fancy Hydra has refocused on the Shrike. They see that the Shrike is in stage 3 of damage. So they're moving into refocus. They know that if they can get one Artemis shot, they can kill them, going for a ram instead. Shrike able to rebuild its armor just in time. Fancy Hydra only damaging themselves. Now their armor's down. Balloon has 5 stacks of fire, going to go down as well. Armor's back up. But G Ready is not really in a position to do a lot of damage. The Gatling, is the Gatling going to be enough? Ooh, looks like it is. The Gatling, Shrike is able to keep up their left side Hwacha just long enough for G Ready to finish off their armor, taking down the Blue Mobula. Boating Bowfist trying to moonshine forward. Miniature shots at close range not doing a whole lot against this Shrike. And let's see how many people are tanking this all armor. We got, alright, we got 3 people. We got the gunner, the pilot, and 1 engineer on the hull armor. No, everybody's on the hull armor. How long can they keep this galleon alive? They're still up. Oh, Squid and Shrike just pelting away. Fancy Hydra seems a little non-committal. Expecting their ally to die here. Finally engaging onto the Squid, forcing them away. Is Boating Bowfist going to survive this here? They cannot allow their armor to go down. It has 20 stacks of fire on it. I think this might be it for the Galleon. Flamethrower able to finish them off. And that's a 5-1 for the Spuds of Glowwater. And it's time to set up our 3rd game. The set's all tied up. Here we go into the 3rd game of this set, currently tied up between the Fancy Cloud Dancers and the Spuds of Glowwater. First off, for red team, we have the Mecha Centipede, a Judgment piloted by Daniel, Lumberjack center gun flanked by Hades and Mine Launcher with a Hwacha on the side. Their allied Gizmo Duck, Triple Artemis Junker piloted by Spudnik with left side Gatling Mortar. And their opponents, the Spuds of Glowwater, piloted by Mighty Keb. We have the Occam's Razor, Gatling Artemis Pyramidion with left side Banshee Flare Gun. And their ally, piloted by Fiasco, we have the Shrike. We've seen this one before, Flamethrower Hwacha, but a change on the left side. We now have a Heavy Carronade and Banshee. So it looks like Occam's Razor has decided to charge out ahead of their ally with Mecha Centipede and Gizmoduck already dual focusing onto the Blue Pyramidion. Shrike taking a really long time to get back into this fight. However, it looks like first target probably going to be the Gizmoduck as soon as they're able to equalize the vertical altitude. Flamethrower has engaged on the Gizmoduck and able to bring out the Hwacha to full effect yet. Occam's Razor, in the meantime, is bearing down onto the Mecha Centipede. Gatling looks like focusing down the Hwacha on the side of that Judgment. And halting their advance before they hit the Mecha Centipede's balloon. Gatling is able to take down the whole armor of the Mecha Centipede. No Artemis follow-up just yet. Mine Launcher is coming into effect. Was that a mine hit on the Pyramidion that stopped them from hitting the Judgment? I suppose it's possible. But the mines are going to be forcing them back. Definitely respecting that. I'm taking a look here. The ship is so large. Alright, looks like Captain Cook does have lock mines. So Occam's Razor definitely has to respect that at close range. Any ram from the front is going to be pretty difficult. Shrike, on the other hand, charges directly forward into the Mecha Centipede, takes a huge Hwacha barrage, but in the meantime, they've distracted the Red Judgment from the charge with the Occam's Razor. No mine launchers in the way. Mecha Centipede super low here. Armor's down. Gizmoduck moving forward to block the charge, losing their balloon in the process, but potentially saving their ally for a few moments. Mecha Centipede's armor is so low, their whole health is so low, anything will finish them off if the armor goes down, but they're able to finish off the Pyramidion before the armor breaks. And now the Shrike needs to decide, do I want to finish off the Mecha Centipede or get the heck out of here? And it looks like he's going to turn tail and charge over to the blue side of the map. That body blocking by the Gizmoduck was incredible. The Judgment, the Mecha Centipede had no mines out. It had no way to stop the Pyramidion, and that certainly would have killed the red ship. Alright, now Shrike trying to pull a little bit of fancy maneuvers here to distract the red team long enough to escape. Occam's Razor has spawned pretty far away. Pyramidion, low forward acceleration, so it'll take them a little bit of time to rejoin their ally. Watch it coming out, taking down 2 of the 3 engines. All the guns are disabled. Armor is down from the Gatling. Gizmoduck with that triple Artemis is going to be able to follow up any armor breaks very reliably, but here comes the Occam's Razor. Gatling, Artemis, perhaps just the Gatling by itself, able to finish off the Judgment, so heavily damaged from the last fight, and now we have a straight 2v1 onto the Gizmoduck on Blue's side of the map, so there's no way the Judgment is going to be able to rejoin this fight and help them. Gizmoduck has to get a fast kill onto one of these 2 ships, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to. Shrike does have, as a reminder, Shrike does have the heavy carronade on the left side, so if at any point the Gizmoduck's balloon goes down, they're pretty much just done. Now, balloon hasn't taken too much damage, but the armor has. Gizmoduck using kerosene to try to charge past the Occam's Razor, using it to bump him, actually using the impact from the Pyramidion to bump him downward underneath the gun arcs of either... Oh, no! Underneath the gun arcs of the blue ships, but the Occam's Razor just barely able to catch them and just flying over them like a speed bump, grinding them into paste. Oh, this is a fun game. Sometimes Guns of Icarus is a fun game. Now, Mecha Centipede hasn't moved too far from Red Team's spawn, but because Blue Team chased the Gizmoduck so quickly, they're not too far themselves. Gizmoduck has spawned in. Occam's Razor charging towards the Mecha Centipede. Mecha Centipede's going to need to get out some mines pronto here before they start taking real damage. Ooh, Shrike. Here we go. Shrike repositioning, trying to get behind the Judgment. Flamethrower firing upward. Looks like we've got chem spray on the Judgment, reducing the flamethrower's effectiveness. Watch it coming out, totally disabling the Shrike. Shrike unable to do anything now as the Gizmoduck comes back in. Gizmoduck has forced away the Occam's Razor. Occam's Razor has lost there. I'm going to double check here. See what? Yeah, it is triple Artemis onto the Gizmoduck. So it looks like potentially some Hades fire or something from the Judgment able to take down the Pyramidion's armor. Man, both the Pyramidion and the Shrike down to about 30% perma hull. Occam's Razor losing their balloon to the Lumberjack. Pyramidion just stuck in the air, moonshining backwards. Armor is down. The triple Artemis from the Gizmoduck. Just one shot is necessary to finish them off, but they're able to get their armor back up just in time. And the next break is enough to finish them off. Red Team tying up the score. Shrike heavily damaged. No way Shrike should stay in this fight. And hopefully this time they can do a little bit of a better job disengaging without taking a ton of damage like they did last time. Because now, if they get caught, they're already at 30% perma hull. If that armor goes down, they're pretty much donezo. This is gonna be a tough one. They're stuck at the map edge. They're going around this map. Going around this piece of terrain. Looks like both the red ships are trying to get the Shrike, follow the Shrike around the same side. Okay, Gizmoduck making a smart play, splitting off. So now they have ships on either side. The Shrike is totally trapped. Are they going to be able to juke underneath the Judgment and get out of here? There's very little room for maneuvering. You see, I'm backing up the camera. This is as far as you can go. They can't catch him. Fiasco's too good. They can't catch him. Pyramidion's already back. Amazing. Alright, here comes the Artemis targeting the Mecha Centipede. Flamethrower onto the Gizmoduck. Watch is going to be engaging the Junker in just a few moments, perhaps. But no, Shrike targeting They've got their sights set on the Judgment with the Pyramidion. Pyramidion held back by some mines, but the Shrike is going to be able to get a Hwacha barrage here. Perhaps. Mecha Centipede trying to dodge down to stay out of the Hwacha's arcs. Pyramidion goes down from the combined dual focus from the Gizmoduck and the Mecha Centipede. Banshees from the Shrike. Banshees from the Shrike. What is this? Oh, it's, yeah, Banshee Heavy Carronade. Having a little bit of difficulty keeping the Heavy Carronade in arc on the side of the Shrike. And there's a triple Artemis from the Gizmoduck. Yeah, I think we may finally see... Yeah, there goes the Shrike. Finally see the Shrike go down. Yeah, the Pyramidion just not getting a whole lot done in this fight. I think those mines proving a lot more effective than expected. And that is one of the advantages of this ship, because it has so many guns that... It's sort of similar to the Spire. And it has so many guns that point in the same direction that you have a... if a target is charging directly at you, you have a large variety of different types of dissuasion you can use. You can use Mine Launcher to just force them back. You can use Lumberjack to knock out their balloon. Hwacha, take out their components. You have a lot of different options, a lot of different angles of attack. If they're not flanking you, if they're just charging straight into your guns, it's probably not the best play. But this is a wide open map. It's very difficult to get really effective flanks because there is, you see red team Gizmoduck at height ceiling. They have very good visibility in all directions. So it's going to be very difficult for them to be caught unaware. Now Occam's Razor trying to come in low this time. Maybe going to go for an upward ram onto the Mecha Centipede. Now the Mecha Centipede is dropping down to assist. Looks like Occam's Razor may be taking a little bit of a bump from the terrain. And we have 1v1 here. Shrike going for the Gizmoduck. Shrike takes out the Gizmoduck's balloon and is probably going to move now to dual focus the Mecha Centipede with their allied Occam's Razor. This is what they tried to do before, but unfortunately, even with the Gizmoduck losing their balloon, they're going to be able to utilize the triple Artemis to force the Occam's Razor away and keep this fight fair. Here comes the Hwacha onto the Judgment, along with the Flamethrower. The ship is pretty annoying to repair on, so these Flamethrowers are very effective. Occam's Razor able to support from long range with the Gatling and the Artemis. Next armor break on the Mecha Centipede's gonna take him down. Occam's Razor just lost their balloon. Gizmoduck moving in to try to assist the Judgment against the Shrike. Mecha Centipede's so low, but their armor is getting rebuilt. Oh no, and the Shrike. Tar is happening. I don't know where the tar is coming from, but it's hitting all three ships. Guns are starting to go down. Engines are down. All the ships have reduced maneuverability. Occam's Razor is just watching from afar going, what the heck are you guys doing? And Fancy Cloud Dancers able to keep the Judgment alive for the entirety of that engagement at 2% permahull and able to finish off the Shrike for the 5th point. That's going to be 2-1 for the Fancy Cloud Dancers as we go into the 4th and potentially final game of this set. Here we go. The 4th game in this best of 5 set between the Fancy Cloud Dancers and the Spuds of Glowwater. First off, for the Fancy Cloud Dancers, we have the Friend Fish, piloted by Daniel. It is a heavy carronade goldfish with the left side Banshee, right side light carronade. Let's see if we can finally get that mass increase. Goldfish's mass increase in action. Their ally is the Bodie McBoatface, piloted by Spudnik. We have a left side Hades Lumberjack, Heavy Flak Mark II with a Hwacha heavy carronade on the right side and a rear flare gun. Their opponents, the Spuds of Icarus, the Spuds of Glowwater. First off, we have the Junk Box, piloted by Fiasco. It is a Magnate with left side Minotaur Dual Artemis, left side Gatling Mortar Hwacha. And their ally, the Paul from Accounting, piloted by Mighty Keb, we have Hades Lumberjack Mark II Heavy Flak with heavy carronade and Hwacha on the right side and rear flare gun. So it looks like all these teams, both these galleon pilots, have given up on on the Minotaur for today. opting instead just to bring your traditional long-range Hades Lumberjack flak setup for maximum damage. And this is what we see a lot of on this map. Blue team flies forward to the canyons, red team hangs out, decides what angle they want to attack from. Friendfish already moving in, but even Bowface, Galleon going to be slow, not ready to engage. Daniel just wants to test out the mass, I think, on the Goldfish, going for a balloon ram on the Galleon and missing, taking Watcher Barrage for his troubles, but not losing any important components during that charge. And in the meantime, Bowface has managed to reposition and is now engaging the long-range fire onto the pile from accounting, while the Friendfish uses the heavy carronade to knock out the junk box's balloon. One more hit here as the Friendfish's armor goes down. Looks like he's gonna go for a ram, knocking him back, pushing him away. Look at the angular drag on that Friendfish. It didn't turn at all when it hit that magnate, knocking out the balloon junk box. Using Drogue Shoot to try to stay in the air, but thankfully for the Spuds of Glowwaters, the Paul from Accounting is a lot of damage from the Minotaur of the Minotaur of the junk box, keeping the Friendfish suppressed for a moment. Thankfully, the Paul from Accounting was able to lend its support fire, but with the Paul from Accounting's balloon going down to the Boatface's Lumberjack, the Blue Galleon is going to be unable to lend any supporting fire until they get that balloon rebuilt and are able to rise out of the pit they've fallen in. So now it's just Junk Box trying to stay alive. And if they can, Blue Team's still in a pretty good position. Friendfish took a lot of damage from the start of the fight, going for those rams. They didn't quite work out so well for the red Goldfish. And here comes Paul from Accounting. They've risen up. We got Lumberjack shots coming out. No spot on the Bowface. This is blind firing from the gunners on the Paul from Accounting. So tough shots. There's one Lumberjack hit. There's two Lumberjack hits. Balloon on the Bowface going down. They're trying to moonshine in. Probably gonna perhaps switch to close range when they get a little bit closer, but currently sticking with the Lumberjack. We have a Lumberjack duel between the two Galleons. Gonna be broken up in just a moment by this rock. In the meantime, Friendfish going for another ram. And this time the Magnate might be positioned to die. Pushing him forward. Here they go. Heavy carronade. The junk box just barely squeaking underneath with the lost balloon. Friendfish, third time, unable to finish the job. With Paul from Accounting making an appearance with the Watcher to push the Friendfish away. And Bowface totally shut down by the Paul from Accounting. So, for Fancy Cloud Dancers to take back this fight, the Friendfish is going to have to find a way to knock out this Magnate. Heavy Carronade, typically pretty good against the Magnate's large balloon and fragile ship, and this might be it. If they clip onto this pipe, there goes the bump. Oh, Friendfish actually may be pushing them away from the pipe so they don't land on it, but these rams are doing so much damage to the Magnate. There we go. He didn't even need terrain. Each of those hits took about a big 35% chunk out of the Magnate to finish them off. And now here's a 2v1. Situation has turned on to the Spuds of Glowwater. The Lumberjack and the Hades. Look at the Galleon. He just shoved him around. It's so much math. It's such a big difference. The 50, you think, oh, it's only a 30% increase in mass, but it does so much. Just shoving the Galleon around. Total control of the situation. I think this was Daniel's, perhaps his ultimate goal for today was just to showcase the potential ramming power of a buffed Goldfish. But they did come out of that fight pretty heavily damaged in the third stage, so if Blue Team can identify that and focus the fish, they can maybe set up a 2v1 advantage for Blue if they're able to finish off the fish as quickly as they can. As we reset back to neutral game. With both teams shuffling around the map. Daniel, the Goldfish pilot, commenting about how annoying the 7-shot Minotaur is being on the Blue Magnate, on the junk box. Neither team have any spots. Don't know where the other is, so they're just kind of rotating counterclockwise around the terrain. And we should see some spots go down here. There, Blue Galleon, Blue Magnate. Now we'll see if Red Team wants to set up shop or continue to bear down on them. They do have a 2-point advantage, but because the Friendship has pretty low health, so I don't know about just charging through this gun line. Yeah, very smartly moving behind terrain. Because Friendfish definitely would not have survived that charge. So he's going to go around. He's going to try to hit the Paul from accounting from a different angle. Let's see if the Blue Galleon is going to be able to react. Currently preoccupied by the Bodie McBoatface. Looks like he's going to let the junk box handle the Friendfish. And there's those Minotaur shots. Here, Dementio's leaving the kerosene on. He took kerosene on for a moment and knocked him around a bit. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He took kerosene off for just 2 seconds, and that was enough to totally throw the Friendfish off of its trajectory. Paul from accounting ramming them away, and now the Friendfish they're facing the complete wrong direction. Armor down from the Minotaur. No Artemis follow-up from the junk box to finish him off, thankfully, but engines are down. Friendfish not going to be able to do a whole lot in this fight. Vopefish as well, trying to support, but losing their balloon to the Lumberjack. So Bodie McBoatface going to be falling behind terrain. Friendfish kind of stranded at high altitude. They still have 1 engine down. I'm not sure what their plan of attack is here. Heavy carronade coming in onto the Galleon. Galleon's down. Balloon's down. Moonshining backwards. Looks like they're going to try to claw. Trying to turn to close range, but they unfortunately hit the terrain too early with the Phoenix Claw on, which turns them back the other direction. A small mistake from the Galleon pilot. And now the junk box is on their own. They're able to zone out the Bodie McBoatface a little bit. Friendfish, because they're at low health, gets a scare from that chunk of armor they lost, so they disengage for a moment. Currently, it seems like the junk box is safe. Paul from accounting still having trouble rebuilding their balloon in the face of the Red Galleon's Lumberjack. Friendfish also not able to find a good angle to attack just because they have... This is one of the problems if you have a ramming style build, whether that's heavy carronade goldfish, Watcha goldfish, Gatling X or double Gatling Pyramidion, is that once you have low armor or low health, anytime your armor is low, you pretty much can't commit to the ram because you'll just kill your own ship. So it's pretty tricky when Friendfish wants to go for the kill. And you see them really right now, what they're doing is they're just trying to be distracting because they know that because they have so low armor, low health, that there goes a Galleon. That there are going to be very few ram kills they can actually commit to. So they're just taking out the balloon, using hydrogen to ride up, take out the other balloon, using some more hydrogen, just being distracting so the Bodie McBoatface can do the real damage at long range. And now with the 2v1, Friendfish is feeling a little bullish. And they've knocked out the balloon of the junk box. Here comes the Hades from the Bodie McBoatface. Their junk box popping drogue chute to try to stay in the air. Watcha not taking out the front gun of the Friendfish, unfortunately. And that's the Blue Magnate. And a 4th point for Fancy Cloud Dancers. And oh no. Oh no, I'm going to rise up here. Paul from accounting taking the close spawn. This is bad news bears for the Spuds of Glowwater. Galleon's going to have to tank this one out. They do get some good Lumberjack shots onto the Bodie McBoatface. But the Bodie is able to build the balloon up pretty quickly. And there's Junkbox respawning close as well. Paul from accounting just lost their armor, but they are a Galleon, so they have a lot of health to play with. Junkbox at close range on the wrong side. They do have the Minotaur being a little bit annoying to the friend fish, but they would really like to have the friend fish on the Hwacha side if given the option. Junk Box's balloon is continually being knocked out. They're using that drogue shoe, trying to stay in the air, trying to find a situation where they can get the Hwacha on the right side. This might be it. I'm not quite sure what the plan is. Maybe they're trying to get the Minotaur onto the Galleon. Not quite sure. But they're moving back to try to stay out of the friend fish's Carronade arc. Oh, okay, there goes the friend fish finally. The armor break that it took it took Spuds a very long time to get. The red goldfish is down. This is their time. They have 1 point on the board. This is their opportunity to take back this fight and take back this game. If they can kill the Bodie McBoatface without taking too much damage, they'll be in a pretty good... I mean, they'll still be down a full point, but they'll be in a winnable situation. And yeah, there goes the Hades. There goes the armor. Balloon is low, 50% health. Next lumberjack shot knocks out the balloon. Lumber is a little bit low. Hades might finish it off anyways. And next armor break, probably going to be it for the Galleon. How many people... Let's do a... Oh, never mind. I was going to do a whole armor check, but they died too quickly. So that's 2 points on the board for Spuds of Glowwater. They won a fight. They didn't take too much damage, about 10 to 15% perma damage on each ship, so they're still looking all right. If they can engineer a situation where they keep the opponents at range, like, they could be looking good, because the friend fish, that's one of the advantages of the Magnate and the Galleon. Really, any of these split broadside ships is you can bring guns of different effective ranges on each side. So Junkbox here with the Minotaur and the dual Artemis on the left, and the Hwacha Minotaur Gatling on the right means they have both a long range and a close range side, along as the Galleon does as well. But the friend fish being the only ship here that operates exclusively at close range. Oh man! But this is a great flank from Daniel, from the red goldfish pilot. Blue team has no idea he's doing it. They just charge straight through the center map, totally unspotted, and there goes the balloon from the junk box, already very quickly being taken out of this fight. But Friendfish, as a result, taking the full brunt of the close range side of the Paul from Accounting and being knocked into the terrain. Oh no, the Minotaur's keeping them locked against the mountainside, as well as the Pal from Accounting comes in to finish the job, running through him backwards. Friendfish having a lot of difficulty escaping from the Minotaur here, especially with those two Artemis on the junk box, taking down the Friendfish's balloon. Friendfish, 0 engines, all the engines down. Minotaur knocking them around. Paul from Accounting able to squeak out a little bit of Hwacha to do a ton of damage to the Friendfish, but Friendfish is able to just barely squeak by. One shot taking him down, but in the process, with Friendfish is down, but the Paul from Accounting did take a lot of damage during that fight from the Bodie McBoatface. That was the cost of Paul from Accounting splitting their focus and dual focusing there with their ally, is they were losing the Galleon battle. And now they've lost so much altitude, they've lost so much permanent health, that it seems like they probably are going to live here, because the junk box has moved forward to contest the Bodie McBoatface. But it means for this last fight, the Blue Galleon's going to have very little health to work with. So if the Fancy Cloud Dancers decide to focus Paul from Accounting, it will die very quickly. Alright, let's see Friendfish. Let's see this charge. Look how fast he gets back into this fight. He's only using kerosene. Junkbox's balloon, again, already down. Friendfish knows his target. He wants to kill this Magnate. He wants to take him out of the fight. Okay, he's not going to kill the Magnate. Or, I don't know. I'm not sure what the Friendfish may be being a little indecisive. Or, it seemed like for a moment he might have been moving to the Galleon, but no, he was just positioning to use side guns. Okay. Bodie McBoatface being the first one to lose armor here. Paul from Accounting, a nice Hwacha barrage, some nice split focus coming out from the Blue Galleon. taking out the Bodhi Boatface's balloon and getting Watcher Barrage onto the Friendfish. And Paul from Accounting's armor is still pretty high, so they could stay in this fight a little bit longer if they want to. They just lost their balloon, they're moonshining away. Looks like they want to engage from a farther distance. Artemis from the junk box, locking down the Bodhi McBoatface. Bodhi McBoatface has not lost. I don't think they've lost any guns. Okay, Lumberjack being rebuilt. Paul from Accounting shooting up some Lumberjacks. Looks like Paul from Accounting is trying to keep the Friendfish suppressed, keeping them locked behind that piece of terrain. Because Friendfish's heavy carronade is so important in this fight. Okay, and here's the moment. He's found the opportunity where Paul from Accounting has switched focus to the Bodhi McBoatface to dual focus with Ally. Bodhi McBoatface taking a lot of damage. Already, heavy flak shots to dual Artemis. Now the Bodhi McBoatface, Paul from Accounting, already their health has been equalized. But in doing so, they've allowed the Friendfish out of its cage. And Friendfish, once again, got some heavy carronade shots into the Magnate. Magnate with the drogue shoot, able to stay high enough to use the Minotaur to push the Friendfish away. And now Paul from Accounting unloading onto the Bodhi McBoatface. No armor. One more shot will finish off the armor, and the next shot will finish off the ship. Heavy flax coming out a little too early. They're just unloading all their guns. Is this going to be the it for the Bodhi McBoatface? And it is. That's 4-4. The game is tied up now, and the next kill will decide it. Friendfish has just lost their armor. And Paul from Accounting, both these blue ships, full armor. I don't think Friendfish is going to be able to get a fast kill here with all the disruption from the dual Artemis and the Watch and the Minotaur. They just don't have the leverage to get anything done. And I think unless Friendfish can somehow tank through this long enough for the Galleon to spawn, they are in red spawn. There's the Galleon, but it's pretty far away. Looks like they're going to be able to get to safety. The armor's down. They're bouncing around a little bit. The Minotaur is pushing him back and forth, but it looks like somehow Daniel has managed to fully disengage from that fight. And it's totally even. The score is even. The situation is even. The Paul from Accounting, I guess, it has more damage than the Friendfish does. So that's a little bit of a problem for the Spuds, but either team could take the match at this point. Minotaur targeting the Galleon, pushing him around. Here comes Friendfish to re-engage. They're still at half health. Already the armor is down. Are we going to see heavy flak hit to finish them off? No, just Lumberjacks. Alright, just doing a little bit of damage from the Lumberjack and forcing him away. Paul from Accounting's really low here. They're trying to stay safe because they do have so little health left. And let's see how much let's see what this Minotaur is doing. Yeah, Spudnik, the Bodhi McBoatface pilot, doing a great job negating the Minotaur knockback with his moonshine. Now, Friendfish might be losing armor again. Taking some payday shots. Balloon's gonna go down. Here we go. Oh, still the heavy flak! So much of that getting transferred to the hull. They're so low. They're on pixel health. The heavy flak, the primary damage from the heavy flak taking out the armor, and the secondary being transferred into the hull. Friendfish is so low. Bodhi McBoatface is taking a lot of damage as well. Blue team has a great handle on this fight. There goes the Bodhi McBoatface armor and balloon. Paul from Accounting totally healthy. Friendfish is moving in, but if he loses armor at any point, he's just going to die. The Gatling will be enough to finish off the Friendfish at this state, or the Minotaur, for that matter. And you see, he already has to back out. As soon as the Friendfish starts taking any damage, he has to disengage. This is really tough. I mean, at this point, like, blue team has a clear advantage with the Friendfish so low. The Friendfish cannot commit to anything. They're just fancy cloud dancers might just have to get lucky, honestly. Here he comes. The Goldfish is moving in. Heavy Carronade is in arc. He knocks out the junk box's balloon. Doesn't take too much armor in the process. Okay, so here we go. Friendfish has found an advantageous situation to charge in. He's flying over the junk box. Maybe planning to stomp them down. I'm not quite sure. Oh, a flare into the balloon of the friendfish. That's real bad. That's 15 stacks of fire. Armor so low, and there they go. The Minotaur, so annoying for that goldfish to deal with, especially at low health. Because when you have such low health, you have such a small amount of time to be able to get in and lock your target down. Because if they return any sort of fire and knock out your armor, you're just dead. And the Minotaur slows down your charge. Can slow down your charge pretty dramatically. So great play from the Spuds of Icarus. They're going to tie up this set, and the final game of the day is going to be on Canyon Ambush. Here we go into the last game of the day. And last game of our best of 5 between the Spuds of Glowwater and the Fancy Cloud Dancers. First off, for the Spuds of Glowwater, we have the Junk Box, once again, piloted by Fiasco, Dual Artemis, Minotaur on the left side, Gatling, Mortar, Hwacha on the right. Their ally, the Paul from Accounting, piloted by Mighty Keb, Hades, Lumberjack, Mark II Heavy Flak on the left side with a Hwacha, Heavy Carronade on the right, and a rear flare gun. Their opponents, the Fancy Cloud Dancers, bringing a Spire? The Great VGS here, piloted by Daniel, Heavy Carronade on the front with a Mercury Field Gun and Dual Artemis. Their ally is the Bodie McBoatface, piloted by Spudnik. Hades, Mark II Flak, Lumberjack on the left side with Hwacha Heavy Carronade on the right. And rear flare gun. Already, the Spuds of Glowwater have moved down the western pass of the map with blue team charging through the center. Spots down on Bodie McBoatface. It's unclear if blue team is aware of Spud's position. So the Bodie McBoatface is deciding to move behind cover to try to clear this spot. Yeah, this Spire can be pretty dangerous. It's an interesting build because it does have the split here with the Mercury and the Dual Artemis. Mercury is not going to be very useful at close range, but both the Dual Artemis can be used in combination with the Heavy Carronade. So if the Great VGS can manage to get a balloon pop without taking too much damage, which I guess is kind of the story of the Spire. As long as they don't take too much damage, they should be okay. Already the armor, on this. Already they're taking too much damage. Paul from Accounting has a great line of fire onto the Spire, and these are terrible camera angles. Spire being forced out of the fight. Junkbox taking quite a bit of damage though, in return from the blue galleon, knocking out the balloon and the armor, popping the drogue chute to try to stay in the air, while the Great VGS repositions. I think Great VGS is really probably going to have to engage their Heavy Carronade if they want to make a dent in one of these ships. And there goes the balloon of the junk box. Looks like they're content to just knock out the balloon and then back away and let the Bodie McBoatface finish them off. No spot in the blue galleon, unfortunately, so Junkbox, nor the Junkbox or the Paul from Accounting are able to return fire, and Junkbox is going to be forced to disengage. Red is really going to need some spots here. They're trying to flare around the cloud, but they can't quite illuminate the other team. Paul from Accounting being forced behind cover. Great VGS going to be utilizing the Merc and the Dual Artemis here to force him away. And finally, a spot does go down on the Spire, so Junkbox is able to use the Minotaur to take down the Spire's balloon, do a little bit of damage. Because I think Red Team probably shouldn't pursue this engagement much farther. Like, Blue Team just has the cloud advantage. Red Team's unable to maintain any sort of visibility. It just means they're not going to be able to return fire. They're not going to be able to do any damage. So I'm not sure why the Fancy Cloud Dancers are continuing to pursue this fight in the same positioning. They should at least move around a bit, try to hit from a different angle. Because this cloud doesn't move, it just stays here. And as long as Spire stays in the cloud, it's going to be relatively safe. And both the red ships are behind cover. Proper counting, it looks like it's going to poke out a little bit while the junk box is staying safe. And Billy McBoatface is repositioning as well. It might be trying to hit the junk box from its location, its concealed location. And there are a lot of clouds, so the galleon might be able to reposition without being spotted at all, and that would be potentially a huge advantage for the fancy cloud dancers. You see him here. Is that a flare? It's unclear. Yeah, I think they're still unspotted. So they know where they must know where the junk box is. Yeah, they do. It's spotted because the junk box hasn't moved in the last minute. So here comes boating with Boatface. Great VGS is distracting them with the 3 long-range weapons, and here comes the Hades Lumberjack from the blue galleon junk box. Oh God! Oh! Why is this happening to me? He's charging away, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to escape. Hasn't actually taken any balloon damage yet, so none of those lumberjack shots from the galleon connected, unfortunately. And well, it was a good attempt. It didn't quite work out. It can be pretty difficult to shoot arcing weapons off the side of a ship that's charging full speed. So, oh, and then there goes the Spire. What, the autobiography of a Spire? There goes my hull armor. William Boatface seeing if he can maybe pick out a quick kill on the junk box, but I really doubt it's going to happen here. And William Boatface, as soon as the Paul from Accounting goes back into this fight and is able to re-engage the guns, the blue galleon is going to be forced away. And you see them already taking cover, preempting that. And because the fight is taking place at the entrance to blue spawn, it means we're going to have a split spawn for the fancy cloud dancers. Boatface is still stuck in the canyons with Great VGS spawning pretty far behind, already losing hull armor to the Minotaur. That Minotaur must be super annoying. Super annoying for the Spire. Although I suppose the Lumberjack would probably do a similar if not greater amount of damage. So Boatface has lost their balloon. Paul from Accounting lost their balloon as well. Dueling galleons in the background. Looks like Great VGS is trying to see who is Great VGS actually shooting at. Looks like they might be split between both the Paul and the junk box. Moving forward here, hopefully not going to hit this pipe. I don't know where. Maybe just trying to get some cover? Yeah, it does seem like they're trying to follow the Paul from Accounting down, not the balloon. Bogeyman Boatface continuing to keep the Paul from Accounting's balloon suppressed, so because Great VGS does have that Merc as its primary long-range piercing, it has to continue to follow them down to the ground. But they are doing a good job keeping them suppressed, and once again, Great VGS making great utilization of this cloud cover. Paul from Accounting, they can see where the shots are coming from, but okay, there's finally a flare, so they finally do get a spot, but not having the ship spotted makes it so, even if you know where they're firing from, not having them spotted makes it so much more difficult to land those shots. And the cloud finally does roll away, so Great VGS does lose that advantage, but they've just done so much damage in the meantime. Paul from Accounting already down to 25% perma hull. Our junk box has done a lot of damage to the VGS. Yeah, they need to. Blue Team's gonna have to get some faster kills here, because even if you have the advantage for 70% of the engagement, if the Spire loses the heavy flak. If the Spire loses the advantage for 5 seconds, it's gonna lose its armor and it's gonna lose 70% perma hull. And that's one of the problems with the Spire, especially in these long drawn-out engagements, is that you have to have the upper hand the entire time, or you're just going to die. However, the Podium Boatface is able to finish off the Red Galleon with the heavy flak, and now they have a straight 2v1 on blue side of the map. Junk Box is going to be backing out, trying to get out of here, and probably will succeed. The Galleon and the Spire, not the greatest charging ships, so probably not going to be a second kill here for FCD. Junk Box is at about 60% perma hull, and VGS at about 25% perma hull, so I don't know if this is a great charge here, because if VGS loses their armor for any reason, they're just going to get instantly smoked. So I don't know if this is the best charge. The Merc shots are coming out. Junk Box has lost a lot of their balloons. or excuse me, a lot of their guns. Paul from Counting has spawned back in, and they're in the fight, ready to defend their ally Magnate. Oh no, there goes the armor on the VGS, already taking permanent damage. There they go. That's what you know. Don't want a 25% permahull Spire as your vanguard. Maybe not the best choice. And now Buddy McBoatface. You know what I said before about the Galleon not being very good at charging. It's also not very good at escaping. So Junkbox is going to take the opportunity to move in and lock this big blue ship down. Minotaur are going to make it very difficult to escape, meaning that the Buddy McBoatface is going to have to keep Moonshine on to prevent itself from turning, which keeps the engineers preoccupied, which means they're not going to be repairing hull and balloons. So this will be a real difficult escape if they can somehow pull it off. But here comes Paul from Accounting with close range weapons. Watch it hitting bare hull. Armor coming up about halfway through the clip. They haven't taken too much damage, but the balloon is still down. Yeah, they're not going to be able to tank for much longer. Armor shots finishing them off. Let's see. Are they still rebuilding the hull armor? We have one person on the hull armor. Yeah, and down they go. That's one of those situations where sometimes you just want to say, hey guys, just let it go. There's no way we're getting out of this scrap. Getting out of this this tussle. Sometimes it's better to just die than respawn on the other side of the map with your ally, rather than drag it out needlessly. Now, interestingly enough, during that fight, Great VGS did spawn in, and it moved a bit up. We can take a look here. Moved a bit. I'll move the camera also. Moved a bit up the eastern pass. So if Bodie McBoatface taking your typical blue spawn, red team might not see the VGS coming. They're kind of in a position where they can surprise the Spuds of Glowwater if they choose to. If Bodie McBoatface can get good spots, they might be able to engineer some type of a flank, but it looks like that's not what they want to do. Instead, they're just blue team choosing to group up. With Bodie McBoatface charging away, VGS taking some shots, revealing their location. So everybody knows where everybody is at this point. And we're just going to have a nice long-range engagement for the time being. Which so far, again, not going well for the VGS. They can't... they're spotted. They do have cloud cover, but they are spotted, and the Bodie McBoatface is not contributing any fire. Okay. They do get behind the rock to safety, not taking about 10% permahull. Not too bad. I think they just want to lend in. The Spire just wanted to lend in a little bit of support fire while the Galleon repositioned. A lot of this is going to come down to lumberjack shots. Who gets the first balloon pops? Both the Junkbox and Bodie McBoatface are one hit away. Bodie McBoatface 1.5 hits away from losing their balloon to the lumberjack. Paul from Accounting choosing to reposition. Are they going to try to shoot through the... I think they're going to shoot through pipe gap. Not pipe gap. This gap maybe. One of these gaps. No? Okay. They're not... I might be theory crafting a little bit too much. I think it looks like they're just using this rock as cover. Oh wow, Junkbox is taking a lot of damage in the meantime while I was distracted by totally pointless maneuvering. Junkbox already down to 15% permahull. Yeah, that's what happens, especially in these I mean I guess really in any type of fight, but especially in these long range fights where the accuracy is very high. Anytime you leave your ally alone, they're going to start taking twice. It doubles the amount of damage your ally takes because the enemy no longer has to shoot you. If you're not firing your guns, they don't have to fire their guns at you, so they can just dual focus your ally and take double damage. Which is tricky. Alright, so both teams disengaging. Moving around, Spuds of Glowwater moving to the western pass, FCD moving up the eastern pass. It looks like they want to totally disengage, return the game to neutral, and decide maybe... I think both teams are probably angling to get maybe an advantageous surprise, maybe an ambush or something. They don't just want to keep exchanging sniper rounds back and forth. They want to try to outsmart the other team. All right, VGS's spot is a little bit dangerous for the Spire, but they are pretty far away, and there are a ton of clouds in the way and rocks, so probably not going to take too much damage. Ooh, Minotaur actually pushing them around. Oh, ooh. Minotaur making it a little bit difficult. Like, just those few seconds, like I said before, those few seconds, you can do so much damage to a Spire. And the Minotaur, you think, oh, it doesn't, you know, turn you that much. But even if it slows you down for just a moment, that can be enough for, you know, 2 or 3 Artemis shots to land. Even if it just interferes with their repositioning, just for that small amount of time. And this is tense. Junk box at altitude, at tight ceiling. But we both face focusing them. If the junk box loses their whole armor, that's probably going to be it for the magnate. Hades shots coming in, a few of them missing. Not a lot of lumberjack. Bowie McBoatface still has all his guns, but it seems like they're opting to find cover instead of continuing to shoot the junk box and losing their balloon in the process. Like, pretty much how this is going to go, Lumberjack's going to be fighting each other. If either the junk box or the VGS loses their armor at all, that's probably going to be the end of the engagement. And Spuds and Glowwater, if they kill both ships, they win the game and they win the tournament. And so even if Fancy Cloud Dancers win, if they manage to take the engagement 2-0, they tie up the score. But then the red team gets brand new ships, and blue team goes into the last fight with however much damage they took. And already the VGS is super low. They cannot afford to give up any kills here. They can't even afford to really give up any damage, lose their armor at all. But here comes, alright, here's VGS with the flank. Here's the advantageous situation that they've been trying to engineer. Heavy Carronade, not able to take down the juice box's balloon. But it is burning. There's 11 stacks of fire. Is that... I think it might be incendiary on the Heavy Carronade, but also how'd Paul from accounting end up here? I'm not even sure what's going on with this engagement. But junk box is pretty well suppressed. VGS keeping a high altitude, which is going to make it difficult for the junk box to return fire. But the Paul from accounting is right behind them. I think VGS doesn't quite know what to do. Sandwiched between these two red ships, and junk box perhaps choosing to close the vice onto the Spire and maybe trade itself. It does. Magnet goes down, but so does the Spire. Both the galleons left alive at full health. 4-2 for the Spuds of Glowwater. Bowface cannot afford to go down here. Okay. Alright. Alright, let's chill out. Let's chill out a moment. The galleon's just hanging back. Okay. I don't know how the Paul from accounting ended up behind. I guess the William Bowface let up some of their shots for a while. I'm not sure how the Paul from accounting managed to get to the Spire with their balloon being knocked out. Ooh, but now, yeah, 4-2, totally complete reset to neutral. Back to the so-called spotting phase of the match. Uh-oh, this is bad. VGS taking up the Western Pass, which is where both the red ships are. They found the enemy team. Bodhi with Bowface gonna have a tough time lending fire here. They do get some Hades shot, arcing some Hades shots, but there are these low rocks in the way. So as soon as Junkbox drops down, the Bodhi with Bowface is not going to be able to shoot them. VGS just runs straight forward, doesn't get any balloon pops with the Heavy Carronade, but the Paul from accounting does. The VGS's balloon is down, their armor is down. Watch it coming out, doing 85% permahull to the Spire in one volley. Next armor break is probably going to be the match in the game and the tournament and everything. VGS needs to tank this. They have one person on the hull armor. It's so bullish. They're somehow still alive. Oh god, and Bodhi McBoatface is just doing nothing. They're so far away. They're trying to move in. Here comes the Gatling from the junk box. Paul from Accounting also repositioning. BGS might be safe for the moment, but here comes the Bodhi McBoatface in the face of both the Spuds of Glowwater ships. But the long-range sides of the Galleon is not going to do a whole lot of damage in arming time. But Bodhi McBoatface, it looks like his eyes are set on to the junk box, ramming them, trying to knock out the junk box's balloon. Bodhi McBoatface armor is down, taking a lot of damage. Here comes the heavy flak, able to finish them off. Somehow the Spire survived for that whole engagement, just for the Galleon to charge in and die to the heavy flak. That's Spuds of Glowwater taking the set 3-2, taking the first, I guess, second test phase, to be technically accurate. Congratulations to them. Those were some great games to watch.